Fire Escape Academy inspector training video. We're looking at a beige fire escape.
Do you usually just go with none of them are balanced right?
Well, they were never. The problem is that one time they were balanced perfectly so that if you step on the front step, it would come down. But due to snow and ice, they would come down prematurely. So people added weights to the back. So with that being said, let's take a look at a standard. I love beige fire escapes. I love gray fire escapes because they help you see what happens when things are rusted. So
Stairs.
when I say something,
welded.
when I say something on another fire escape when it's all black, it's hard for you to agree with me.
Yes.
But with this now, the evidence is here. All the dragon tears are showing that those welds, you think those welds are compromised in any way.
Yes.
And I need an x-ray to prove that they're good or bad. This connection right here, I need to prove that that weld is good. But is there evidence of rust that got in there because nobody sealed it from above and below?
Yes.
1% of all the fire escapes in the United States are welded for a reason, because they fall apart immediately. So here's the reason why. So now let's get back. So this is a combination welded and bolted. So now let's look at all the bolted treads. Any evidence that water has gotten behind there and compromised every one of those bolts.
Yes.
So the only way I can guarantee you that there's nothing wrong with those bolts is I can load test it. Otherwise, what's another way that I can, for inexpensively, avoid the load test? I just rebolt. So I take those bolts, which are inexpensive, they're 10 cents a bolt.
Yeah, clean a bolt.
Clean out the treads, put the treads back after it's been cleaned, seal it with silicone. The fire escape is back into a 25-year cycle. Now, that's down here. This is a brand new cantilever system down here because the previous one was smashed to death, and you can tell why. And they brought it up to 14 feet up above, right?
Yeah.
But now, let's take a look at the system here above. It's still the original fire escape. Now, looking up at the original fire escape, any evidence of maintenance? And they used to have bolts, and they took out the bolts, and what did? They welded every tread back in. Okay? Now, what's the rule when you see welded stuff? Load test it and or x-ray it or rebolt it. But if I've got evidence of rust in it, what do I have to do anyway?
You got to take it apart.
I got to take it apart and then put it back together. And not even including the EPA requirement that can you weld fire escapes that have lead on them? Nope. Don't allow you. EPA, anything older than 78, you can't weld it. You can only bolt it. So let's talk about the cement. Can you look up there in that corner right there of that platform going into the wall? How is it?
Bad.
It's bad.
It's cracking.
Cracking.
It looks like it's just filled with the
So you got
cement.
They've been painting it though, right? It's got yeah, it's got plenty of paint on it because they keep throwing paint. Have they been fixing it though in its lifetime?
The top stairwell looks like it's just pressure paint.
Yep. You can still see original square head bolts on all the entire fire escape. Cement. We need to verify the connections back into the wall or duplicate them. The treads, somebody went and welded them, so if I find that there's no evidence of rust in them, I still have to rebolt it anyway. Why they didn't just rebolt them anyway is beyond me.
I don't know, but all those corners up there scare me.
Yeah, they're full of rust. So now you can start seeing just exactly what every structural engineer has to look at. Excessive rust in the corners, tiebacks into the buildings and unknowns. And these bolts that hold. See this big, huge support going here. And see that big nut on the tip and the second nut in the middle? I can only guarantee you that if I load test it. But if I keep that, if it's in good condition, and I gusset just behind it and I reinforce it, do I need a load test? But if I leave it alone as is, what do you want?
I want a signature.
Oh, no, you want a load test.
Well, yeah.
So if you don't want to load test it, then minimally duplicate, reinforce, or replace that 50 to 75-year-old bolt.
Right.
Otherwise, these opinion letters, do you want these opinion letters anymore?
No.
And that will guarantee this fire escape for the occupant and guarantee this is fire escape for the fireman.
Yep.
Fire Escape Academy, Inspector Training. We're here in Springfield, Illinois.